The meaning of the movie. Author Orpheus on Read for Minutes, published on the 25th of August 2019, updated on the 16th of October 2019. A superficial glance will see a simple and brutal explanation of the movie: a massacre in the house of a Hollywood actor, a sea of blood, furious gore, and the cherry on the cake, a flamethrower. In general, the usual Tarantino set. However, by the middle of the picture we realize that Quentin is not so simple as it seemed. And the ending summarizes the director's genius. There is no single meaning to the movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood intertwines several major storylines. The first thing we see is a true friendship between two mature men. Actor Rick Dalton and his understudy Cliff Booth complement each other both during the filming process and in life. The next plot stratum is the fading activity of the golden age of Hollywood in the person of Dalton and the beginning of the new Hollywood, young, alternative, daring, whose triumphants were Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski. And unfortunately, not a cinematic fiction, but the true story of the atrocities of the maniac Charles Manson and his family, a sect created by Manson himself to carry out the most elaborate murders. The storylines connect in the finale, clarifying the meaning of the ending. Tarantino shot his subreality with a happy ending, where there is no place for the murder of a pregnant actress. The old and new Hollywood harmoniously exist together, and male friendship only grows stronger. The meaning of the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Aging and reflective Rick Dalton 10 to 15 years ago shone in the films of the golden age of Hollywood. Now Dalton drinks a lot, suffers from forced work in Italian westerns and dreams of a place in the sun, in the new Hollywood. His friend and understudy Cliff Booth, rumored to have killed his wife, is Nordic and benevolent even in fights, as on the set with Bruce Lee. Without understanding the relationship between DiCaprio and Pitt's characters, the meaning of the movie will be partial, implicit. Their friendship is an allusion to the relationships and events of the classic Hollywood of the 50s, nostalgia for the great actors who have passed away. Rick and Cliff convince us by their example that not everything in the world of movies is fake, a phantom. Rick and Cliff is a slightly idealized face of the past, without which the uplifting ending of the picture would not have come together. The introduction of the tragedy that occurred on the night of August 8, 1969 provides further explanation of the film. Sharon Tate, wife of director Roman Polanski, being 9 months pregnant, and her guests were literally torn apart by Manson's gang. The details of the event are chilling to this day, so we'll leave them out. From Tarantino expected a repeat of the story or its continuation with a multi-purpose shootout and ironic dialogues. But the case took a completely different turn. The heroine Margot Robbie, it was she who played Tate, remains alive and somewhere in the near future a happy mother. Throughout the movie, Tate enjoys her cinematic debut, makes sweet conversations and in every way pleases the eye with happiness overflowing across the screen. And the director doesn't let us down. He doesn't let the happiness of the fragile new Hollywood collapse. Old men, Dalton and Booth transfer the anger of maniacs on themselves, while not giving a single chance to a family of Manson to save themselves. Cliff, under the influence of acid, frantically massacres the gang with the help of his pit bull. Dalton burns alive one of Manson's girlfriend's napalm flamethrower, or an obvious reference to Inglourious Bastards. Brutal and bloody? Of course. Adjusted for the circumstances, the viewer is entirely on the side of the actor friends. What's the bottom line? Cliff Booth is hospitalized with a knife wound after a deadly fight. The wounded Cliff's courage and loyalty seem to remove the stigma of being a wife killer. Rick Dalton and his Italian wife remain unharmed. Noise and police sirens finally attract the attention of Sharon's company. Dalton and Tate do not get to know each other until the very final scene. The actress does not know that a couple hours before her life was threatened, ahead of Tate's soaring career, new roles, success, and the fading fame of the star of the 50s, Dalton can make a new turn in the new director Polanski. The dashingly twisted ending takes us to a parallel reality where Sharon survived and the villains are punished. The meaning of the ending is visualized after the credits and the inscription, "The End." The meaning of the ending of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Life is not rewritten from scratch. There will be mistakes, twos, blots. Torn in the distant 1969 sheet of Sharon Tate's life made a new turn and reborn script, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 50 years later. The invented characters of Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, embodying the old school of American cinema, save young Hollywood in the person of Tate. The final meeting of Rick and Sharon in the Polanski Tate house is symbolic, the merging of eras, the transition of one great milestone of cinema into another, no less significant and profound. Quentin took a risk, rewriting history in his own way, boldly, with a zest, as only he knows how to do. Tarantino's ninth movie, for all its toughness and cynicism, does not leave a heavy heart. Penetrating and wise genius gives the viewer a wonderful fairy tale, which we all aspire to in one way or another.